Of the fantasy football season. And here's a few tight ends I would look to drop this week. The first guy, Tyler Conklin of the New York Jets. Conklin, he had good rapport with Joe Flacco the first 3 weeks of the season, but the last 2 weeks now, he's really fell off with Zach Wilson. Week 4, Pittsburgh, 3 catches, 52 yards. And Week 5 versus Miami, 1 target and a goose egg in that one. So right now, tough matchup in Green Bay in Week 6. Give up the third least amount of fantasy points to tight ends on the season. And right now, this Jet team, they're running the football more with Zach Wilson, being a little more cautious, and a lot of their players' numbers have gone down so far this week here. So Tyler Conklin not doing much over the last 2 weeks here, and he's a tight end you could drop on the waiver wire. And tight end, besides Kelsey and Andrews and Hockenson, for the most part this season, no one else has really put up numbers or been a guy that's been consistent. Maybe 4 or 5 guys. Zach Ertz I could throw in there as well. Hockenson, Andrews, and Kelsey, and even Darren Waller, he's banged up now with a hamstring, and he hasn't having big games either. So right now, it's only a few guys at that tight end position, and Conklin's a droppable one this week. The next guy is Dalton Schultz of the Dallas Cowboys. So Schultz, he's been banged up on and off this season. Then in Week 5, he left the game for a little bit with a knee injury, but he came back. But him and Cooper Rush, they're not connecting. Even with Dak Prescott coming back in a week or two maybe here. I don't know if Dalton Schultz is a guy I really could trust in fantasy football. Obviously, Dak's going to throw the football more than Cooper Rush. But this Cowboy team's rolling right now. 4 in a row with Cooper Rush behind center. And who knows if Dak, they're going to rush him back now. So Dalton Schultz was great last season, no doubt about it, with Dak Prescott. But now with Cooper Rush at the helm and him banged up early in the season with knee injuries and ankles, he's not a guy I could trust, and he's a tight end I would drop this week. And the third and final tight end I look to drop, Irv Smith Jr. of the Minnesota Vikings. Irv Smith Jr., his ceiling's pretty much 10, 12 points at most weekly here. And he's had 1 good game, 1 bad game type of things here. But the last few weeks here for him, Week 3 versus Detroit, 2 catches, 32 yards. Week 4 at New Orleans, 3 catches, 23 yards. And Week 5 versus the Bears, decent ball game in PPR, 4 catches, 42 yards. But right now, he's the third or fourth option, obviously, in this Minnesota offense. You got Jefferson, you got Dalvin Cook, even Madison's getting play. Adam Thielen, and then Irv Smith is pretty much the pecking order. So right now, I know he's got a good matchup on paper at Miami that gives up the 7 most fantasy points to tight ends on the season. But right here, I don't think Irv Smith's really a tight end that's going to pay dividends for fantasy owners. And he's a guy that's just too inconsistent. And I would drop him this week. So that's a few tight ends I would look to drop here for Week 6 of the fantasy football season.